Are you ready?
Starting now?
Well, now you just messed it up, you knob. God, you know that the shit that we go through for this, huh?
I know. Fuckers better appreciate it. When we started, we were just like, yeah, we're just going to do this, man. You know, shoot our wad into the wind and see what happens. What's the title of this podcast again?
I don't know. I don't know. Something with a penis, I guess.
Right.
Our fucking faces are everywhere now.
Right.
You know, but
You're welcome, ladies.
Right. Popular with the ladies. Right. Oh, I'm not even going to apologize because hopefully it sounds fucking hilarious.
Yeah, totally. This is fucking explicit now.
The explicit button. Let me use my finger.
La, 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 la.
It is time for another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And that episode starts now. All right, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And Mike and I were just chit-chatting real quick. And yes, it's snowing like a motherfucker outside right now. Yeah, would you say you were watching what you heard on the Weather Channel or something like that?
Yeah. I sat down, I was having something to eat, and I had the Weather Channel on, and they were in South Bend, which is not too far from where you're at. And I was all, oh, it's never good when the National Weather Channel's near where you're at.
Right. Well, and here's the funny thing is that, I listen to Milwaukee radio, still the morning show that I'd listen to.
Right.
So I hear their weather, but also keep an eye on, I've got my WeatherBug app and all that stuff. And, they were talking about a chance of snow on Friday, obviously today in Milwaukee. And then this, was it Wednesday, I think, late Wednesday afternoon, I get this pop-up with my weather thing. And it's like, it's gone anywhere from like 3 to 6 inches to 4 to 8 to 8 to whatever. And I'm just like, oh God. But the thing of it is everything they've said so far, like it's going to start with rain and then a mix and whatever. It's done all of that so far, so yeah. And Kathy just got home a few minutes ago and she's like, it's pretty nasty out right now. So, but
nice.
Yeah, well, I went ahead. I was off of my normal job today, because we're getting the rest of the stuff cleaned out of the house, out of Mom's house, this weekend. And to begin with, so the dumpster was dropped off yesterday, and he was going to keep an eye on things and possibly have somebody there today. So I'm like, I'll just take off, and then that got changed, so they're not coming till tomorrow. They were possibly going to split it between 2 days, but one way or the other, I'm like, fuck it, man. I got other shit I need to do, some things that I had to do with like the web store and other stuff. And I'm like, fuck it. So I took the day off.
Nice.
But then, I'm like, you know what? I had somebody bought some coffee and then bought one of the 12 and 12 book. So I had to get that up to the post office. So I ordered my pizza. Picked up my pizza at 12:30 this afternoon, threw it in the fridge, and I'm like, because you never know. I mean, I'm not afraid to drive in the snow, but number one, everyone else, and then, figuring that, who knows how long it would take to, it's literally, I don't know, 15 minutes away. It's not that big of a deal, but you get some fucking jagoffs out there, and it could have taken 45 minutes to get up and back, even without getting smashed by somebody.
Exactly. Welcome to my world.
I know, yeah, every damn day. I know I preach, preaching to the choir with you when it comes to driving around fucking assholes every day. But, but yeah, so I mean, just, we didn't really get a chance too much to talk about the fact that, again, we're now in season 3, and I'm just going to say, yeah, episode 54, which kind of, I don't know, balls deep now into season 3. So yeah, that's where we are right now. With I couldn't really say that. Well, it popped into my head a few minutes ago, but just wanted to say that while we had a female guest on the line. But yeah. So episode 54, mark that down. Balls deep into season 3.
Right. We may have a show title.
You know what? When it comes to this, that's all up to you, and I love it every time. And what was that? We were playing Cards Against Humanity, the balls deep in a squealing pig shooting a rifle in the air or something like that.
That sounds very familiar.
That's one of the.
I also remember
best...
playing the game.
Yeah. Yes. But I remember posting that on Facebook when the first time that I came across that card when we were playing. I'm like, that's one of the best cards in the deck, I think. But yeah, I love that one. So, but anyhow, so a couple of things before we get completely off on a fucking tangent. You're reading number one, and then it's the beginning of the month, so we can talk about step 3 if you want to.
We could. All right.
So,
actually, the reading, I think you may have posted it. I don't pay that much attention, but but I think it is. It was from February 27th. It was one I've had loaded in the chamber.
Okay.
And
speaking of balls deep,
exactly. Loaded up and ready to fire. All right, so February 27th. Oh, by the way, yes, we when we had guests, past couple weeks, we haven't done a reading. I've had one ready just in case because I didn't know what we were going to do. But anyway, so yeah, I was sitting on this. This is from God Grant Me, my favorite meditation book, and it's February 27th. All doors are hard to unlock until you have the key. Robert O'Brien, some Irish guy, I'm assuming. When we were using alcohol or drugs, our addiction was like a door we could not open. We could not fix our lives until we found the key. The key was simple once we found it. The key was surrender. Surrender means we give up fighting with our addiction. We stop fighting to control how much we use alcohol or drugs. We stop fighting to control what happens when we use. We admit that these are fights we cannot win. Alcohol and drugs simply beat the life out of us. We need to give up. We need to walk away from the fight. Once we found the key and surrendered, we started to feel better. We found out that we are not losers in life. We're only losers when we fight with our disease. None of us can control disease, but we don't need to let it control us or beat us up either. We can avoid the fight by staying sober. Prayer for the day. Higher power, help me pick my fights in life. Help me fight for good and right things to make the world a better place. Remind me that picking a fight with my addiction is a stupid choice. Today's action. It says actions because this is a program of action. I will make a list of the ways I've become a winner since I surrendered in the fight with alcohol and drugs. I will read the list to my sponsor. No, I won't because he doesn't want to fucking hear it.
But yes, I'm probably 99.2% sure that I did post that because I remember, obviously talking about, and that's the thing we talk about. Surrender is the key and acceptance is the key and all that stuff. And it's funny though that it's not that I don't. I really enjoy God Grant Me, but there's a lot of times that the way it is on my phone, it basically cuts the reading, because it's being again on mobile, it's not a full page. Some wrap over in the other one, so sometimes there's a reading, and rather than flipping it into 2 pages or 2 like pictures on there, I'll use something else. So end up with one of the other readings. But yeah, that's every once in a while. It's number one. It's a perfect reading and a perfect setup for me to take a nice little screenshot and take it. But I know I like that one. So yeah. Question on that with the because is God Grant Me the only one? There's other ones that have the action part of it. Do you ever?
Yeah, the other one that it's from the same authors. They Keep It Simple, which is my 3rd book at the moment. Yeah, it's got action as well.
Okay, and I couldn't remember if it was that one or A Day at a Time might have it also. But do you ever actually do any of those actions or no?
Motherfucker.
No, here's the thing, and I'm going to admit it, is half the time I don't necessarily even read the action parts because I don't do them. It's not that I don't always do it, but sometimes. So I was going to kind of out myself on that. I didn't mean to out you. Saying that sometimes I don't even read the action part because I know I'm not going to do it.
Right.
So
right. No, I read it anyway. No, it's actually very rare that I do. I'm trying to think. I've been reading God Grant Me now for 10 years at least, maybe 11. And yeah, when I first started doing it,
we lost power
the
for a
writing
minute,
stuff.
so
I'm not big at writing.
hang tight.
Never have been. I did that 4th step and I went, cool, I'm done. Oh wait, shit,
It's back
I got an 8th
on,
step
but
to do. All right,
hang on for a minute.
But yeah, no, 99% of the time I don't. I read the action, but I don't take it. Are we there? Am I rambling for no reason?
Well, so hopefully nobody's going to notice that interruption because hopefully I'm like super slick in my editing. But
right. Well,
yeah.
I was still rambling on when you went out, and the short answer is no. 99% of the time, I fucking don't do the action.
Well, it's just kind of funny because I'm sitting here and I mean, literally the fucking house went dark, and it wasn't for more than 2 seconds, but enough to fucking knock everything out. And I'm like, motherfuck, and my computer was still up, of course, because it doesn't need to be
right. Yeah, it's got a battery.
It's got a fucking battery, yeah.
Right.
And then I'm like, God damn it. Then the thing for Riverside pops up and it's like, oh, the studio should be fine. And I'm like, motherfucker, it's not fine.
I know. I'm sitting there running my mouth and all of a sudden I can hear there's nothing on the other end. And I'm like, oh, well, lost Bill. Okay. I guess I'll shut up now.
No, I think it'll be fun. It'll be interesting to see because for everyone out there, I just set up a new studio, so I'm gonna have to go back and listen to what part we're cut off and whatever. But we had that happen one other time, but we had to restart a studio, and I forget why. But yeah, whatever.
I'm sure we fucked something up.
Yeah, probably. And this was motherfucking nature this time. So
right.
Yeah, that's kind of funny though. I'm glad you brought. I forgot what we were talking about. But no, so seriously, I sometimes I don't even read the action. But yeah, I don't think that, quite honestly, I don't think that I've ever, I don't think I've ever sat down and done one of the actions in any of the readings. But
right,
so.
I mean, as I said that you didn't hear, yeah, I don't do a whole lot of the writing part, but occasionally if there's something I can incorporate into my day, into my life that day, I will try to do that. So yeah, I do read them and I do, go, it's probably something I should do, but I'm not picking up a pen. So,
well, but I do at the end of every one, like the 24-hour book, and I know A Day at a Time does it. It'll ask a question, and I answer that question honestly every single day.
Right.
And every once in a while it's worded a weird way, like it'll say, "Do you believe that God is in your life?" I'm like, "Nope, my higher power is." But hey, yes, right. I believe in the concept. But we had a conversation about that one time with one of the questions, but I don't know. And that's a good point. I like that. The fact that first of all, the fact that you say that you should probably put it in your life. That's, that's a conscious thought. It probably sticks in your head, and some good has to come out of it. So
I hope so. Well, so, it's working so far. So
if it ain't broke, right?
Right.
But no, seriously, that was a good reading, and I liked the surrender. Obviously, we know we talk about it so much, surrender and acceptance and all those different things, and they're the keys to all these things. So that was a good one.
Ain't gonna open up if you don't unlock it.
Right, or like we talked about before, keep banging your head against the wall, just move over, a foot and walk through the door. All right, so you're in your book still, so you could read off.
I have the book next to me. I'm not in it.
Okay,
it's kind of small, and I'm a little big, so I don't think I fit.
Let me step back. You have your book available.
I might be able to fit the book in me.
That's
might take a minute.
Rectum nearly killed him.
I hardly knew him.
All right, so what I was going to say,
but I can look up the wording for the 3rd step, which is, I think, where you were going before I went someplace awful.
Before, yeah. Well, what else is new? One of us is going to go that way anyhow, so I don't care.
Exactly.
That's all good.
All right, yes. Step 3 of Alcoholics Anonymous: made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him, or her, or it, or whatever.
Right. So, and you had mentioned the story, God, probably a couple of weeks ago now, when because you were at the zoo. Marty called you away on your third step. So,
yes, I had a whole day planned out to do my third step. Yes, and it didn't work out.
well, and that was my thing, for anyone who didn't listen, because I think and I can kind of share my experience with the third step too. But
Mm-hmm.
do you want to just repeat even a brief? Well, however you want to do it. I think that's important. What you, at least what your plan was,
My plan was I went to the zoo. I did go to the zoo. I was on a bicycle. I rode from the Rock to the zoo, which was, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 miles, something like that. I was planning on spending the day and, looking at it. Here's my air quotes, God's creation. And at some point during the day, I was going to do my third step and do the third step prayer and all that happy crap as was suggested to me. And I got a phone call and it was Marty and he had work for me and he told me to get my ass back. So I left the zoo, got on my bike, rode back and went and did some work. Yeah, that's the short version.
So did you ever go back and do anything like specific or special for that? Okay.
Nope, I did not.
Well,
life got busy, man, pretty damn quick, which is good. Which is good. But, as I've said many times, I work the first 3 steps before I get out of bed in the morning, So, I remind myself I'm powerless. I realize I can't do it by myself, and I make the conscious decision to let something bigger than me run my life. And then I get out of bed.
Well, and the thing of it is, and going up to, because once again, to kind of step back, when we were in the Keating Center, and again, I think I used the word allowed, which is the wrong way to do it, or wrong way to say it, but basically it was suggested and we were, kind of directed and guided to just work on the first 3 steps or focus on them within the, the time we were in there, which, it is important. Those first 3 steps, without them, the first one especially, but, the first 3 without them, I mean, I don't know. I think in our opinion, we're kind of lost without them,
Absolutely.
And everyone was making this big deal out of the third step thing, because there's the third step prayer. I mean, all the steps have a prayer, but I mean, the third step prayer is a big one. But everyone, I heard people going this place with their sponsors, going here and going to this, I don't know, a retreat or a church. And I'm like, I don't know, am I supposed to do this?
Right.
And so I didn't have any like big fanfare with it, but again, the wording, and I just looked it up too so I can read it off in my head, but made that decision to turn our will and our lives over, but, and I know I did that at that point,
right.
I may not have sat down and I don't know, made some, I don't want to say a spectacle live, that's the wrong way to put it, but made I don't know, this big event out of it or anything like that, but I did that, and to your point too, is that every single day I do the same thing. Now, you and I do our morning routines just a hair different, only in the fact that I don't do anything before I get out of bed. I get up, brush my teeth, go to the bathroom, all that sort of thing, put my contacts in, then I sit down and I do my readings and I do my prayers and that sort of thing. But, I do it before I, get on with my day.
Right.
But those first 3 steps, I mean, in my prayers that I do, they're involved. The wording of those, it's not exact, but it's in there,
Right. Yeah.
At a minimum, it's the wording is in there. So, I
my
am
intention.
doing those.
Yeah. My intention every day is, right. Yeah. First 3 steps. And again, the big ceremony on the third step, and then what? Then you're never going to fucking do it again. I've done it. Moving on.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, again, the way we were taught was 4, 5, and 8. We do once. And if we do them right, we don't have to do them again. But the rest of the steps, I need to work every day. And I try to the best of my ability.
Well, and you said the
very
word
often fall short, but yes, go ahead.
No, the word ceremony. That's what I couldn't get that. I couldn't figure out the fucking word ceremony.
Ceremony.
Yeah, ceremony. But yeah, it was just I don't know. And I had so many, and I was just thinking about it. I was thinking about it the other day too, and I don't remember why it popped into my head, but maybe it was the fact that I knew we were going to be talking about this, the third step, and remember your story and what we were just talking about. But I remember at the time, really, I was going to say almost, but definitely being worried about that, wondering if number one, if I'm doing these things right, do I have to do it this way? What happens if I don't? And even same thing when you get into the, the fourth step and the fifth step,
Right.
which, I mean, we'll talk about coming up, but, you're supposed to do these things as we were told and suggested and taught, to the best of our abilities.
Right.
And like you just said, the perfect point is that, with the exception of a few here and there, I mean, where you're doing everything else, you're doing them on a daily basis. And for us, I mean, it's been 4,700 days,
Yep. Yeah.
So it's a lot of fucking times, so
it is.
if we do that consistently, I think based on the data that we've accumulated, I think that's kind of the point, right? So I don't know if anyone's out there and wondering if the only one, in our opinion and what we were taught from, and it makes sense, the only one that you have to do perfectly is the first step, and it's a matter of it's pretty fucking simple. Even if you're not in a 12-step program, if you don't realize, even in simple words, that you're fucked up, your life's fucked up, and alcohol is the one that is doing it to you, and if you don't accept that, then you're going to keep doing that, and you're probably going to fucking die, sooner or later. So, and again, you don't have
the fucked up notion that somehow we have control over the substances. Yeah, we don't. They control us every fucking time.
Right.
I'm handling it.
Yeah. Hey, I'm okay. Only hurting myself, right? But yeah, just I don't know. Seriously, I remember being very concerned about that I was doing things right. And I remember too with talking to our sponsors, and I know we did it individually, but really talking to my sponsor about that 4-step, number one, am I ready? What do I do? And he's just telling me to read the fucking book. And I'm like, God damn it. Because I'm all about, I don't know. It's a hands-on, but having somebody show me something, which maybe, now that I think about it, maybe that is why this thing works so well, because I was just talking to somebody about that today or yesterday about being a visual learner. I mean, pictures and things like that. I got to either it's a picture I got to see, or I've got to, see what's going on, but then it's a hands-on type of thing. I can read, and reading these, that's probably why I forget what I read. I don't remember what I read this morning, God, for the life of me. But I know these things stick in my head, they set themselves in there. But I just remember being, I don't know, so freaked out about just doing everything the right way,
I'm going to miss something. I'm going to do it wrong, and I'm going to end up drinking again. Sure.
Right.
I believe that's called a healthy fear.
Right. But that the funny part is that at that time, you figure we were talking to our sponsors about the 4th step, I was like 7 months sober, and I was still completely jacked up in my head, maybe not completely committed. But again, the good thing is that I think we've both realized, probably more so talking here on this whole thing over the last year, that clearly it was that desire, that will, and all those sort of things was in me. I just had to stick around long enough to pop it out of my ass.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. You're willing. Again, willingness is the key. We have to, if we're willing to do it, we keep fucking trying, we'll eventually do it.
Right.
Still working on that, but yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still willing to do the work, and I do the work, and there it is.
Yeah. And, still teachable, right? That's the other big thing that we were always told, and yeah, I agree with that. That's once again, Instagram, doing this thing, talking to different people, hearing all these different terms, hearing all these different mindsets and stuff like that. It's helpful. I mean, we may not walk the exact same, line and path that, some of these folks that we talk to and listen to and have, had on and stuff like that. But it's great. I mean, it's been an eye opener, and I don't know, all that stuff has just been an eye opener, quite honestly. But yeah. So, okay, 3rd step. Anything more on the 3rd step, or your experience with that, or anything more you want to expand on?
Just being the atheist that I am, and it's one of the big God steps, and it is, just the power greater than myself. Just like I was told very early on, just know it's not me anymore, and accept the fact, and I still lower the G and add no, and good. And I still use Group of Drunks too, because Alcoholics Anonymous is definitely a power greater than me. And and when it comes to the power greater than yourself, your higher power, whatever, you need to be, I've learned, for me, I need to be a part of it, and I need to do its work, whatever it is. Whatever it is. If it's a good thing, I need to be working that good. So I try to.
Right.
Again, fall short on a daily basis, but still trying. Still trying. I'm willing.
Right.
God damn it.
Well, and it is. That was a tough thing, and I know I've told the story about me trying to get my phone and them not having it, and I felt like I was forcing it, and Mom was saying, "Oh, we'll call around, we'll do this," and it just the good thing is that even at that time frame, which was only a few months sober, maybe 4 months sober, I had that uneasiness when I tried to force something, and I still do, but I tell you, it's still not easy. It doesn't. You know it's well enough because you know me well enough. But for everyone out there, patience. Patience is still a motherfucker for me. I'm impatient. I don't want to wait. I want to do everything, and I want to force everything all the fucking time.
Right.
But every once in a while, and what's funny is the things that irritate me the most sometimes are the little things. But that's what they always talk about. When these big things are going on, I can just sit back and kind of think to myself, I'm like, fuck it, man, this is it. Maybe because it's more clear because it's a big fucking deal, or a big thing.
Yeah.
When it's a little thing and you're like, what the fuck is this not working?
Right.
But that's what they say. It's the little things that make people drink too,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, the big things are, they're all encompassing and we're focused on them. And yeah, it's that little shit off in the periphery that fucks with your head, man.
Right. So I gotta, speaking of all these like big things and out of our control and that sort of thing, I'll tell you a really brief story. And this happened, God, it's been almost 2 weeks ago now. So when, the web store and things like that, we ended up through Shopify, one of the sales channels is Google, so we could do advertising. Well, when I was out there, I was showing you the advertising and stuff like that with Google.
Yep.
So when I added all the coffee products there's 43 or 44 different coffee products, but then all the variants, that's the different sizes, different like courses, anything like that, beans to standard to all this different stuff. So literally out of the coffee, when I added it and what gets loaded into Google was like 770 products. Okay. So what happens every once in a while with that, and I don't know if I mentioned this part, it's a weird thing. Google's picky and I get it and all that stuff, but there's different things that they want to know. Does it have a barcode? Does it have a manufacturer's number? Does it have this, that, and the other thing? You could list it as unique product, but sometimes it kicks these things back, So when this coffee gets loaded up, the vendor is us, it's SoberNotMature, which, it's a private label thing and it's unrecognizable. So they're like, tell us what the thing is. So each one of these things have to be labeled as a unique product. And it's an open scroll click, open scroll click, open scroll click. Okay. And I'm not shitting you. It was 770 some accounts. Okay.
Right.
Or products. And I'm like, I finally told Kathy about that. I'm like, fuck me. And anyhow. So it took me probably about 5 days to get through all of them, including the like a weekend. And some of it was just, it was a thing that I could do while I was watching TV. It's mindless,
Sure. Yeah, right.
So I was doing that. I do like an hour a night, do 100 a night, and then I finished up on the weekend. So that was this one weekend. So Monday, and this is like Monday at, I don't know, like 4:00 in the afternoon, I have an email pop up on my phone, and I just open it up enough where I can see the preview, and it says your ad account, this is from Google, your ad account has been suspended.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like, I can't look at this now. I'm trying to finish up work, start looking at all this stuff. The long and short of it is, it wasn't just like, hey, fix this. This is a warning. This was like a murder conviction suspension, right? And I mean, seriously, to the point where when they suspend for this, basically the easiest terms are saying that they're saying that we tried to go around their process and like almost like sneak a website in or sneak things in without having them review them. And I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Right.
Well, two things that I figured out. Okay, we had our website for the podcast hooked in. Okay, so a link. We had links to Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts. So it's going to all these different websites, right? That's number one, and then Project Clean. And I didn't know. Granted, even all the reading I did on it. It's almost veiled in there about. I still didn't get. I know that's the problem because I fixed it, but I didn't. Nobody even says it doesn't say completely that that's what it is. So I had to appeal because basically they're saying that you don't come back from this. If they suspend you for this, they will never allow you to because basically it's fraud.
Right.
They're basically saying that you're trying to sell shit through another website without telling them. So I send this appeal and I told them what we were doing and, stupid me and I should have known, blah, blah, blah. So they correct it. But then there's the ad account and then there's a Google merchant account. Well, they don't talk to each other. Apparently. So the ad account it's now okayed, but I'm dealing with the merchant account. And again, this has been a 2-week process. And my point behind this is now the ad side of it is now going to work for us to get the merchant side cleared up. It should be done in the next 3 days, maybe 4. But I'm telling you, this is fucking Google.
Right.
And I mean, to the point where our free ads, our stuff might come up on a search, but we're not going to get that type of, here we go, penetration that we're looking for. Speaking of balls deep, we're not going to get balls deep into Google without having all this stuff,
Right.
So this was, and this was one of those big things. I was frustrated with it, but I'm like, I just need to kick back, because this clearly Google is a power greater than us. not in a recovery standpoint, but you know what I mean.
Oh yes.
So I'm like, man, I'm just kind of sitting back. It's tough. I mean, but it was easier because basically what I told Kathy at that point, I'm like, she's like, what are you going to do if they don't reinstate it? I'm like,
right.
I said, here's the thing. And this is the only way that I can look at this and not freak the fuck out is that I had all good intentions. I didn't do anything on purpose. I wasn't trying to be fraudulent. And actually the complete opposite. We were trying to help an individual basically support the recovery community. I said, if we get locked out for that, so fucking be it. I'll live with it,
Right.
And I'll be able to sleep. I'll be able to sleep at night because I'll know where it came from. And that's how I explained it to him. So anyhow, so what I did was I just set up Project Clean is on our sponsor page on our podcast website now because there isn't those restrictions. But that just reminded me of it. I was going to bring it up. Then I'm like, nobody wants to hear about fucking Google. But this kind of it kind of fed in right with the everything we were just talking about, the uncontrollable things. Because, I mean, seriously, I mean, that, Google is they're kind of a big deal from what I understand.
yeah, I've heard that somewhere. Yeah.
Hail Google. But anyhow, so yeah, it's and again, I was right in the fucking thick of it last week, and I wasn't going to bring it up obviously while Sonya was on because take away from that. But but yeah, it just kind of fed into I don't know, seemed like it fed into what we were talking about anyhow.
Yeah,
so
a little bit.
But yeah, we're getting it fixed. But cool. Again, things like that. And literally what I did is I had to come make peace with it, and that's the only way that I could do it is say, okay, I was doing the right things, and if we get fucked over doing the right thing, there's nothing I could do about that because I wouldn't do anything differently. There's nothing I would have done differently,
Yeah.
So
that whole the whole my side of the street's clean and let them fucking whirl.
Right.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, I don't know what the fuck we're gonna do. But
yeah, all right. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I didn't say it was easy. I didn't say it was digestible. I just said that's the way it is.
Well, because in the time that our ads were running, which was less than, it wasn't even 30 days, a couple of weeks, there was it got in front of 6,000 or 7,000 or 8,000 people, Now, granted, the number of clicks through and things like that wasn't a big deal yet, but it was in that building process, and it went from that down to literally fucking nothing. And then you could see in the graph, it just flatlined for a week. And I'm like, it's dead.
I broke it.
Right? Yeah, inadvertently fucking broke it. So, but anyhow, so yeah, I know that was a lot of rambling around, but I think it kind of had a point to it. But
Yeah.
so kind of fit in there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, anything more on the third step though? I mean, I think we kind of kind of talked through it to a point that I think was good. But anything else on it?
No, I think I covered my end.
Okay. I got to tell you too. I had a drinking dream. So, and this one was
You
yeah.
too,
This was
huh?
only a couple of. Oh, did you? Okay.
I
You
had a
want to go
couple
first?
this week.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I only had one, so let me tell mine, and you can tell yours. So,
Yeah. Okay.
so it was a couple of things here. The couple of odd parts about this. So the people I was with was kind of the odd part. So
Mm-hmm.
you were there.
Mm.
Kathy was there. Dawn, my ex, so my son's mom, Dawn,
Right.
and then I think Corey might have been there, but I don't know for sure. Okay,
Right.
so actually we're in this bar. I don't know why we're in a bar, but up to this point, here's one of the weird parts. Dawn and I are talking, and I don't know if I handed her a piece of gum or she handed me a piece of gum, and it was cinnamon. And I remember taking the cinnamon gum and talking. I'm like, oh yeah, I said this is what I used to, basically put in my mouth or a cough drop when I was drinking because
Right.
I like took a big breath on her. Like, she's cinnamon. I'm like, oh yeah, what's the point,
Right.
And then like that, I'm talking to her on my right. And then this bartender comes up and hands me my drink, and I took it and I drank it. And as I'm drinking it and literally have all the liquid in my mouth, it's a shot glass that I just took a drink from, and it was vodka. And the only reason I know it was vodka is, and this is like the other fucking weird part, I could taste it, So taste the actual vodka, and I'm holding it in my mouth. And then you're over there sitting at a table. You're just kind of like in a little bit of the haze in the background going, don't worry about it. He's fine. And then, so I go into the bathroom and I spit it out, and it's this one whole bathroom, with just a toilet and a sink.
Right.
So I'm in there trying to wash my mouth out and all this stuff and spit. Some fucking guy comes in trying to get around me to take a piss. So this is all these things in this dream or this vivid. And then I come walking out, and everyone really was no big deal about it, but I'm just kind of like this taste in my mouth, and I'm ready to like just light up the fucking bartender. But then I'm like, it's not her fault. She didn't know.
Right.
And then my roommate from college was there, and I start talking to him, and then I woke up. It's so the weirdest one. I don't know where my fucking roommate from college came from. He was like my best friend in high school, and then all of a sudden he's there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my dream.
All right. Yeah. I mean, shit, I don't remember any of the details of mine. They were like earlier in the week. I just know I had two this week. It's this week has been interesting, man. It's yeah, I've been irritable more than usual, and not really discontent and whatever, but yeah, just irritable, a little more than usual, grumpy, man, and I don't know if it's getting out of winter or it's I don't know what the hell it is. I don't have a reason for it. It's just kind of the way I've been this week. Today was much better. Today was better. But yeah, this week is weird. And yes, in the midst of this, whatever the hell was going on, Mercury in retrograde or some bullshit. Yeah, I know I had a couple of drinking and using dreams in there, and it was like, yeah, that figures. Why the fuck not? Let's just make this really nice this week. And but not once. I almost told a lie. Look at me. Not once did I ever think drinking would be okay. Of course, I thought about drinking during all this nonsense, and of course, I played the tape through and went, no, that's a stupid fucking idea. And the usual. Anytime I have the thought of the drink, or the drug or whatever, I have those tools and I use them and it passes and it's all fine and whatever. But yeah, it's been a restless week. And like I said, today was better. Today was I woke up and I didn't have to go to work, and I laid around and didn't do shit most of the morning, and actually got up and Dan texted me, our pal Dan, who I buy cigarettes for because I get them cheaper at the truck stops, and he had texted me and asked me to pick up some donuts. So I was all, fuck it. So I got up and got out of the house before I had planned, and went and got him his donuts and dropped him off his cigarettes and said hi to him, and then came back home and didn't do shit for a while longer. Yeah, it was nice. And I went and got my taxes done, so that's good. I got a couple of bucks coming to me, and yeah, I don't know. I'm just in a better mood. But yeah, it was just a weird week. But I got through it. Yeah. Right. What the hell? What else am I gonna do? Fuck shit up worse? Nah, I don't think so. Not today.
Yeah, and it is kind of funny when you say that. There was somebody else I was talking about. Oh, it was one of our followers had posted something about that, about the thinking about drinking, and I responded to it the same thing. I'm like, Mike and I talk about that all the time,
right?
As far as, because she was saying that, and I don't know how long she's been sober. It's been for a little bit. She's got a little bit of time. I just don't know how much,
right?
Or don't remember how much, but. She was basically saying the same thing, that of course I think about drinking. Of course I think about this. I just don't do it.
Right.
And I don't know if she used the play to tape through, but along that concept. And I just commented, I'm like, man, Mike and I talk about that. I'm like, other people, when they say that they never think about alcohol or never think about drinking, I'm like, okay, I don't get it, but to each his own. I just and I think
I don't believe
you put it perfectly. Right. well, and you said two things: the fact that you didn't believe him, but on top of that, you said that it's impossible to have alcohol and or drugs that big a part of our lives for all that time,
right?
Just to never think about it,
Right? Yeah, that's Again, that's a fucking lie, man.
Right?
It's on TV, it's on billboards, it's everywhere. It's on the internet.
Right.
I mean, I'm fucking scrolling through Facebook and I get, Jack Daniels ads and shit. I still do. There it is. I don't like Tennessee whiskey. I'm a Kentucky man myself, but right. Yeah. Still,
right.
I'm a professional. I'm just retired.
So when, and just made me think about this, when we got our, I did that collage for our 1 year anniversary of the podcast, and there was that little thing from Anchor where it said, a year ago, you guys, blah, blah, blah. Just your first recording, whatever. But what I did, I cut off the top part because the top part was like two hands toasting with fucking champagne glasses.
Of course.
And I'm like, when I first of all, they sent it to us, or it came to me in an email, and I think it popped up on Anchor at least 2 weeks prior to the time that we recorded,
Right.
So probably what it was is that when you and I were testing things out was probably that first day that it was, because we did record something, but regardless, I looked at that. I'm like, well, that's kind of fucked up. Plus, I like the fact that they sent that to us, but I'm like,
sure.
The word sober's in our podcast. I mean, I know it goes to everyone, but it just...
Yeah, right. There's not actually a person doing anything. It's an algorithm, and a date pops up, and it kicks some shit out automatically.
But it does go to show, or show, to show.
It does.
Why did that sound fucking stupid? It go to show. I don't even know either. It faux show go show.
Right.
Okay, so let me
Which
step back.
You be?
It just reinforces the fact that I mean that's how society is,
right.
Again, watching TV, like you said, Facebook and all sorts of things. It's an anniversary. Why not toast over it?
Right. So celebrate. Yeah, right. Clink some glasses. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Could have been a couple of fucking coffee cups, but that wouldn't even work because you don't drink coffee. So
right.
What the fuck? It can't do anything just for us.
Nope.
But no, I thought it was nice because I was able to cut that, and I found the other thing that had the anniversary thing and was able to put it into a nice collage anyhow. But it was just kind of it.
Despite
it made
society
me
fucking with us, man.
Right. Well, I might have been triggered by that.
That's right. Why'd you relapse? Because fucking Anchor sent 2 champagne glasses to me.
Fucking Anchor. Fucking Google. Fucking Anchor. Fucking Facebook. Fucking Instagram. Fuck them all.
Yep.
And we need every goddamn one of them.
Yes,
That's
we
the
do.
unfortunate fact. Damn it. All right, so I wrote down something here, and this was from one of the. I've been listening to a couple of different podcasts, and I want to make a mention of one here in a minute. But the question of or the I guess the statement of drinking beyond the buzz, and it was the question of why did we do it and when did we start? And I kind of know what our main answers are. You know, I'll let you answer that part. But the more important part was it just made me think about that. You know, that the drinking beyond the buzz I thought was an interesting way to put it. But and I know why we do it. Do you remember? I mean, do you remember like when you started? Like getting beyond that to the point where, because I know you said you were young when you were drinking, but getting to the point where you liked the effect, where it got past the effect to where you were drinking beyond the buzz. Do you remember? Like what age? Or
from the beginning? You know, I mean, the only time I didn't go beyond the buzz is when I didn't have enough to get beyond the buzz. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, I have absolutely no recollection. I mean, the first time I got drunk. Bam. You know, hard. I was 9 years old, man. I talked about, I think in my story, at my mom's wedding, you know, to her second husband. Yeah. And I got hammered. And I wanted to. It wasn't like I took a few sips and went, "Oh, this is fun. I'll stay here." I'm moving on, man. I want it all.
Right.
Yeah, always did. Like I said, the only time I didn't is when I didn't have enough to get past it.
Right.
And I wasn't happy about it.
Well, and I thought about that too, because I mean, it is so I mean, when I first started drinking, and even along the way, every once in a while, so you know that those first couple of drinks are the ones that, you know, the first one is whatever, the second one might get that initial buzz going, but you know that initial, and I think it is. I think we talked about it, and I felt this way for a long time. Is that, I mean, that's kind of what you chase, but you know, I don't know anyone that's a real alcoholic that they can find that point and just stick there, you know.
Nah.
it'd be fucking awesome. It's like if you could just, you know, just press a button and, you know, have a, I don't know, a 15-minute orgasm or something like that. Like just get at that, but just, you know, again, the buzz moment, you know. So but no, it just when it was weird, because I thought about that. I'm like, I don't think I ever did, because, you know, I don't know that I'm pretty sure I never would have had the ability, you know, to just stop at that point.
Right.
There's no way.
Yeah. No, I never did. And again, didn't want to. Yeah.
Right. Okay. That was kind of an easy one, but it was just, like I said, drinking beyond, I just never heard it put that way. And I know we talked about it, but then I don't know. It's just one of those interesting, if nothing else, but
drinking beyond the buzz.
Oh, but I did figure out, and this is the other thing I wrote down. I may actually have, because we talked about that, like our biggest spite moment when we got sober was, you know, the statistics and people saying we couldn't, and you know, telling an alcoholic you can't, and so it was like that point, and we remember talking about, you know, the meeting where we were joking or going to the meeting about, you know, fuck it, we'll just, you know, stay sober to piss everyone off out of spite, you know. So, and again, I don't know if this popped back into my head based on something I was listening to, but I made a note here. I possibly have a new spite moment.
Nice. Lay it on me.
So I know, and I probably, well, whether I talked about it or not before, I don't know. So when I was leaving detox, there was Mom and Kathy were in there, and then there was the doctor. The doctor was the one telling me basically, you know, I can say whatever I want, my 3 to 5 beers. He's like, you can do whatever you want. You keep doing what you're doing, you're going to die, you know?
Right.
And then there was either the nurse or probably a counselor or something in there. I don't remember. But I do remember her saying that she's like, you know, somebody asked the question or stated the point, or it was my turn to answer, and I said, "Well, I'm just gonna quit drinking." In this, I remember this lady looking at me and saying that you realize it isn't that easy just to say that you're gonna stop drinking. And in my head, I'm like, "Fuck you, you fucking whore," you know. But the thing of it is, and I knew it wasn't that easy. Number one, I didn't want to be told that, but then I also wasn't really in the mindset where I wanted to quit. But
Sure.
that was the first time that it had to have been a podcast or something I was listening to that made me remember that. But I thought about that. I'm like, that might have been that first seed of spite
Yeah.
that was planted. And that was day 6 of my sobriety, because that would have been, that would have been day 6, no, 7, whatever it was. So that Friday, and so that might have been my first day of spite.
Nice.
Yeah, but and again, but I know for a fact that here's the fucked up part is that walking into the Keating Center, which was again that day, I had no desire.
Right.
I know I had no desire at that point. So even though it might have been the first one, I mean, I know for a fact that well, I guess I can't say I know for a fact. It didn't feel like it stuck at that point. That's for sure.
Right. Right.
But all right, God, I kind of lost track of time here. So we had a few minutes on the other recording and like 30, almost 40 into here. Yeah, What the fuck? Why don't we take a break?
All right, we'll hang around. We're going to have a brief word from our sponsor, and we'll be right back.
Hey everyone, it's your friends at Sober Not Mature.
Hi there.
Yes, it's both of your friends this time. Hi Mike, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Bill?
I am doing well, but we do have a purpose. We actually usually talk about our one website, but we actually have 2 websites now. So
2
websites in one. All right, so everyone knows we still have the podcast website that is www.SoberNotMature.com. And we just launched the store website, so we also have that. Do you know what the website address is on that one, Mike?
Of course I don't.
It's pretty easy, Mike. It's www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. But from the podcast website, you can still hit the store link and get into the web store, or you can access it from our Instagram page through the highlights. We've been posting quite a bit about it, and we'll continue to do that. But do you know what's on the second website, Mike?
Well, there's a store. There are products that you can purchase for you and your loved ones.
Well, Mike, do we still have merchandise?
We have merchandise. Well, we got T-shirts and coffee mugs and all kinds of crap.
And one of the coolest parts, we also do have all the recovery books from Hazelden, which is kind of a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Yeah, at least for us. So all the books that we read, God Grant Me 24 Hours, the Big Book, the 12 and 12, all of those books are available for sale on our website. And again, that store website is www.sober.
Trying to help, man.
I know you are. You're not helping, though. Okay, now I got to say www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. .com. Visit that today, or visit the podcast website, which is, again, the podcast website. So
www.SoberNotMature.com.
Did you just say sober but not mature?
Yeah, sure. Write that down.
Yeah, like fucking mush mouth or something. All right, everyone. You've suffered enough with this, and we'll get back to what we were talking about previously. So visit the websites, though. All right. Welcome back, everyone. Oh, Jesus. The fucking power just clicked again.
You're
flickered.
You're still connected, so.
Yeah, just the light flicked a little bit. Yeah, fucking damn it. So, come back from the break. Maybe did I fuck with some god or something like that? Speaking about gods, did I fuck with somebody?
Right. Yeah. Because we're so fucking important, they're paying attention to us.
Yeah, of course, man. Don't they know who we think we are?
That's right.
So there was this one was just kind of funny. Again, a podcast I was listening to, I'll talk about her in a minute, but she used the word hangxiety, like HANG, anxiety.
Yeah.
Like hangover anxiety. I've just never heard the word before.
Hangover anxiety.
But it was just, she put it all together, hangxiety. I just thought it was kind of funny. Like, rather, it's like the next day being hungover and having anxiety over all the shit that you did the night before.
Yeah.
It was pointless about the probably no topic behind it. It just made me laugh. And I don't know why. I've never heard the word hangxiety before. So,
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll never hear it again.
But so this, but yeah, this podcast I've listened to, and again, it popped up with one of these ones, and she got sober when she was 27, and I think she's coming up on 3 years sober.
Okay.
And it's funny because her mom has been sober for like 40 years. So she's had her mom on a couple of times, and her mom talks about her mom is like the mindset of ours, you know, the AA, real alcoholism, all these different things on that. And she's got a little bit different mindset. So they talk about and they call them arguments, but more like debates they have back and forth.
Okay.
Because she's got a little bit of that, you know, probably more of that, and I'll just call it more of that new age mentality about, you know, not everything needs a label and not everything needs this, but she does, as she talks, I mean, she talks about a lot of the principles and things like that. And what interests me about her is her age. You know, I get really hooked into listening to these young people, you know, that got sober, just trying to get some of their, just again, listening to, she's not talking about anything weird or out of the ordinary except for anxiety.
Yeah.
You know, but good stories and, you know, good talks and stuff like that. But the funny thing though is the same thing. You know, she's a younger female and same deal, always cheering people on and this and that. Oh, so fucking nice. So fucking nice.
Yeah.
I know. And it just cracks me up because again, like we talked about, you know, I don't know, like a what seems like 1,000 times, you know, we're not, I don't know. I maybe we're nice, maybe we're not, you know, we get compliments every once in a while. People thank us for, usually what people thank us for on Instagram. We had a couple this week, just for being, you know, straightforward and thanks for, you know, getting right to the point on whatever. And, you know, which is, I'm grateful that people respect that, you know, I mean, that to me is kind of cool, but so,
and they grab onto it and they, I think more than respect, recognize it as being a good thing. Cause I certainly think it is. You know, I mean, I've wasted enough of my fucking life, man. I don't have time to waste anymore.
Well, yeah. And, you know, I would, and it's funny, probably, I don't know if I would have been that way to begin with. Probably, you know, I would rather, if somebody's going to tell me something, I'd rather have the Band-Aid ripped off. I'd just rather get right to the point, you know, and, you know, kind of going back to that, you know, hands-on type of thing. I can read a book, but I'm going to get, you know, really anxious that I just want to just show me. I can read too, but I want to I'll follow the directions, but let me get out there and do this too, because I can't just sit back and read and wait and that sort of thing. So I think the straightforwardness, you know, well, I know for a fact it's helpful, you know?
Definitely. Yeah. Simple program of action, man. We can read the book all day long. If we're not incorporating these things into our lives, it's kind of useless.
Right.
Yep.
So on that same note, and the other thing, you know, I hear, and I've heard this guy, I hear it all over Instagram too. You know, people talk about literature about quitting. The term is quit lit. You know, and when I first heard that, I'm like, what the fuck is quit lit? And then it made sense. I get it. It's literature about quitting, you know, and a lot of people do that, you know, do a lot of reading, do a lot of research and that sort of thing.
Sure.
So it made me think about though, did you ever do through all of your travels and different things that you did you ever just sit down and like read stuff about this disease or have somebody maybe not even hand you something, but you know what I mean? Did you ever like do any research on it rather than go to, I don't know, rehab or do something?
Oh, like on my own? Like,
yeah.
No, absolutely not. I mean, other than, you know, actually kind of brings up, I mean, when I was a kid, even before I started, I mean, I remember reading things about drugs and you know, because I wanted to use drugs, and I wanted to drink, and so I read about them, the effects, and I did study that, because you know I was going to beat the system. I was going to have all this knowledge so I wouldn't get trapped. I wouldn't become that story, you know, that we all have now. You know, I was going to figure out how to do this and do it right. And here we are. So as far as that goes, definitely. I did. But no, when I was out there and even after I'd been introduced to the program and had, you know, a little knowledge of when I was, you know, fucked up and miserable, and, you know, no, I never went, because that's half measure bullshit. And I knew that intuitively, you know, that, okay, I'm all fucked up. My life sucks. I'm fucking strung out. I'm hopelessly addicted to alcohol. And I'm going to read some literature to figure out my next move. Nah. No, I knew, I knew because I had been around, and yeah, you know, I needed to go and be around people, whether it's at meetings or in rehab or in a sober living facility or something. I need to go and immerse myself in it. That's the only way it was ever going to stop. Yeah. So no, nope.
Yeah, and you know, and I wasn't even thinking about this part of it until you started talking about, you know, when you were a kid. But I did not read up on this stuff to try to beat the system. It is kind of funny, but
yeah, it is. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, but I think did I tell you when my dad gave me the book about adult children of alcoholics? Did I tell you about that?
I don't think so. No.
Okay, so God, this is God. How did I never tell you that? Well, one way or the other, I was going to tell it. So let's roll. So
yeah,
I was probably, I think I was working for him at the time. It might have been actually, come to think of it, it might have been when I was in college. So either senior year or that, you know, so that 17, 18 range. You know, when he gave me the book, and he did it. He did it well. I guess is the right way to put it. And the reason I say that is that he never tried to force the things on me. Never made me feel comfortable or uncomfortable. Let me step back. He didn't make me feel uncomfortable ever about that stuff.
Sure.
He and I did not have as open of a talking and relationship about alcohol as Derek and I do.
Sure.
And I'm thankful that Derek and I can talk about it more. But I never felt uncomfortable about it. So he gave me this book, and he just told me, he said, he goes, if you want, he goes, you don't have to, but he goes, you might find some, you know, information, you might find some things that make sense, and gave it to me in a standpoint, or from a standpoint of saying that, I probably fucked you up a little bit. Here's a book that'll explain why.
Right. Yeah.
and it was actually pretty good, you know. So I remember I was reading it, and then it had to have been when I was in college, because I went to work for him, and then he had married this lady that he met in the rooms. She was not an alcoholic, but her ex-husband was. He was not only a drunk, but extremely abusive to her. So she was in Al-Anon, and then that's how they end up meeting. They got married. This little short German bitch, and I'm going to say that because she turned out to be horrible. But at the time, she was tolerable, you know.
Right.
But also had her moments, and she had. You know, I was kind of slowly reading this book and whatever, and she knew that I had it. And I remember her saying to me one day, she's like, are you still reading that book? In almost accusatory type of way. And I'm just like, yeah, I read it here and there. She's like, you really need to read that book. Your dad gave it to you for a reason. You know, you need to read that, and you need to read it right away. And you know what I did?
Yeah, I know exactly what you did. Yeah, you stopped reading it.
I never read another fucking word out of it.
Exactly.
You know? Because she fucking pissed me off. And, you know, and I never told my dad about that, which I probably should have, come to think of it. But, maybe not. But, you know, because and that's why I was trying to make that point, that he gave it to me in the right way and made me feel very comfortable.
Sure.
You know, and didn't make me feel like I had to, or, you know, anything like that, but never read it again. So I ended up, as Derek was getting older and after I got sober, and I talked to Dawn about it, you know, I bought, this is when I was still in Ohio. So you figure, I mean, he was only, you know, 11 or 12 at the time.
Right.
And I bought the book online, and I told Dawn about, you know, kind of briefly that story. I said, I'm going to send it to you. And I said, if, you know, just in case, if you want to read it, want him to read it or anything like that. And then I ended up, as he got older, and I was living in Germantown at that time. Again, somehow it came up. And I had asked him, I'm like, do you remember ever seeing that book? And again, it came up in conversation. It's like, no. And I said, shit. I said, it was years ago now. But I said, I'll tell you what. I said, if you want, I said, you don't have to, but I said, this is what my dad did.
Mm-hmm.
And I read part of it. I told him the story too.
Right.
I told him the same story,
Mm-hmm.
but I said,
You didn't corner
if
him
you
and
want me
tell him
to,
he had to read it.
no,
Okay.
but I told him, I said, I'll buy it for you if you want. And I said, if you ever want to read it, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever want to tell me you read it, that's fine, but I'll never ask you about it again.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And he said, yeah, that's cool. You can buy it for me. So I did.
Right.
And, I've kept my promise. I've never asked him about it.
Mm-hmm.
He's never brought it up. I have no idea if he read it, but, but I gave it to him, because I said, yeah, if you ever have any questions, which again, over the years, he really hasn't, but, that was a long story about literature that I had, starting to read into it.
Right.
Because, and I do believe and we talk about this, and I know we brought it up so many times, and is recently as last weekend with Sonia, I don't feel traumatized by my upbringing. Everyone has their shit that they went through. My dad did some shitty things to me, not physical.
Right.
My mom did some shitty things to me too, not physical. I don't mean it that way.
Right.
But they both acted like shitty fucking people to me. In some cases on a semi-regular basis. But I don't blame my drinking or blame them for my drinking.
Right. Exactly.
I don't blame my childhood. I don't blame any of that. I don't give a fuck that my dad was an alcoholic. That the fact that I was, it doesn't matter, man. It is what it is, So.
Yeah. Well, we were taught somewhere we're supposed to take responsibility for the shit that we did. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the point. Yeah, exactly. My mom was an alcoholic. Yes, she was psychologically abusive and blah, 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 and occasionally physical and whatever. And it's got nothing to do with the fact that I wanted to fucking feel good all the time and everybody else can go fuck themselves because of it. Yeah, that was me. That's all me.
Right. Yeah, and it was, I don't know. And like Sonia had said, she's like, you guys are, lucky or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I guess, I don't, I'm glad I didn't have to go through severe physical or mental trauma. I mean, I think anyone can say that.
Sure.
I'm glad I didn't have to go through anything, I didn't have abusive parents or anything like that happen.
Right.
Physical, sexual, mental, if anything, I handed out the verbal and mental abuse to people around me that it wasn't the other way around.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just is what it is. I take responsibility. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, because I know for a fact, I used to blame everything and everybody, for
absolutely
everything that happened in my life.
Yeah, right. It was everybody's fault, and it sure as fuck wasn't mine. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and imagine that we were taught when we got sober, right? That we gotta take responsibility for ourselves.
Yeah, pretty much. Guess what? All the shitty things that have happened in your life, they're your fucking fault. Deal with it. Oh, right. Okay.
Right.
So that, and that's, and again, next month, I'm sure we'll discuss it more, but yes, that fourth step, when we look at it, we go, you know what? Yep. Every shitty thing that happened to me was my fault one way or another. I had at least a part in it, and I take responsibility for it. And if I don't want that shitty stuff to happen to me anymore, maybe don't act like that anymore.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that'll be a fun conversation, because I was just about to bring something up, and I'm like, fuck it, we can wait.
Right.
We can wait 4 weeks, because it has to do with the fourth step. But
right.
This is another one that I wrote down that kind of is along the same lines of what we were talking about. So, and I know you've heard the term. I mean, people talk about it in like real life, but peel back layers of the onion. How do you feel about that statement, or do you think that has, I don't know, does it mean anything to you with the mindset or idea? Obviously, I know what it means, and I know you know what it means. But do you have any feelings about the saying itself or what it means to you?
What it means to me is maybe, it's not exactly, well, again, it kind of goes back to blaming other people. I've got all these problems and all this outside shit. And if I peel some of that shit off of it, I find out that it is me. So yeah, for that, definitely. I think people sometimes overuse it, use it in the wrong way. You know, sometimes an asshole is just an asshole. You know, and there's no peeling anything off of it. That's just what it is. You know, yeah. So I think it's a double-edged sword, definitely. You know, sometimes things just are the way they are. There's no peeling involved. That's what it is.
Right.
Yeah. You know, and sometimes, yeah, and people will use that as an excuse to, and I've done it. So I'm a person that's done it. You know, oh, there's got to be some deeper meaning. No, there doesn't. You know, there doesn't have to be any deeper meaning. This is what it is. You're a fucking asshole. Don't be that way.
Well, and really, I guess I never thought about it that way. When you think about it, I mean, it's still a fucking onion. It's just a different.
Right.
You peel away one layer, it's still a fucking onion.
Still an onion. It's just a smaller onion.
God, I never even thought about that.
Yep.
Because the other thing, you know, because I wrote down in here, obviously, how do you feel about the statement? But I wrote in here, for whatever reason it bothers me. It's not the concept. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
It's not the concept itself. I understand it. Maybe you just hit a point that I think kind of makes sense to me, is that people overuse it, use it in the wrong way. And the more I think about it, I think it bothers me because I've heard it on a business level, and people use it. It's one of those fucking corporate terms that people use all the time. We're going to get in there. We're going to peel back the onion and see what's underneath. We're going to take a closer look.
Right.
You know, and this and that granular too. You know, we're going to get more granular on this. Fuck you.
Right.
You know, we're just doing the 10,000 foot view. Okay. And then tomorrow we're going to get granular. Fuck you.
Right.
Then we're gonna peel back the onion, motherfuckers.
Right. It's an onion.
But But now, you know, that now that you said that, I mean, it's I think that's what it is. It's not the fact of from the recovery community that it bothers me. It's I didn't think about that. It's the corporate community that fucks up a lot of our sayings, you know.
Right.
So
yeah.
fuck them.
Right. Exactly. Well, yeah, you're right. All these problems, all this, you get down to the core of that onion. And, you know, it's laid out in the big book, man. The root of our troubles, the root is selfishness and self-centeredness. And all that onion blossom off of it doesn't mean shit.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I and again, that's why I said I understand the concept. It's a matter of, you know, digging deeper. But I don't know. I just think that part of it is that the onion is probably a bad example.
Right.
You said, what do you got there? Well, a fucking smaller onion, man. Yep. I don't know. You didn't help me at all. you just took away. All you did was take away half my fucking onion, man.
Right. Now what am I going to put on my hot dog?
Back to balls deep. What am I going to put on my hot dog? Hello. But no, I mean, I do agree that the concept of you gotta figure out where, again, the alcohol is but a symptom. All these different things. We get through some of these, you know, these layers, whatever you want to call it. We dig deeper in that through, you know, the first 3 steps and giving up all that shit, and then the 4th, and then all these different things, you know. So you're doing all that, but yeah, it just you still end up with the if you're an asshole, you're still. You can still be a fucking asshole one way or the other. So, but yeah, like I said, I think it's bothered me, and that's I'm glad we talked about that. I thought that was kind of a pointless thing, but it is. I think it's the corporate thing that gets me more than anything. So, what the hell else do I have on here? Oh, this was from I've had this on here for a long time. I think. Do you think that a normie? A normal individual truly understands why celebrating our successes is so important to us. And I know it's kind of a weird saying, but you know, because I know that we have people around us that are normies that love and care about us and celebrate our successes. But yeah, do we think that somebody who has not gone through it can truly understand, maybe not why, but the depth of our celebration?
You know, I don't know. I really don't. I think they could, like you said, they could appreciate it, and they certainly are grateful for it. One of my proudest things, I know we're not supposed to be proud, pride, blah, 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 blah. But one of the things that I am most proud of is I own 3 beds. And to a normal person, that sounds stupid. That doesn't make any sense. I have 3 beds in my house, and they mean a great deal to me because for a very, very long time, I did not own a bed. I didn't have a bed of my own. Even when I lived someplace, a roommate situation or something like that, quite often a bed came with the room. It wasn't mine. It was, I slept in it and whatever, and it was quote unquote mine, but it wasn't. There are 3 beds in my house, and I am hugely proud of that. I have a bed that I sleep in, and it's a big motherfucker. And and I've got 2 other ones that I can have someone come to my house and have a bed. It means I can't even express it in words how much it means to me. It's a huge thing in my life, and yes, I know pride is bad, but I am very proud of that. It's a thing that it's an accomplishment, in my life. And no, I don't think that makes any sense to anybody who didn't have a bed. Yeah.
Right. Well, and you know what? And I'm only gonna I'm gonna disagree with you about the pride thing, because I think that it's okay for us to be proud and prideful, as long as it's not in a selfish way.
Sure.
And if it's not this pride along with greed type of thing, maybe that's the way to put it. But because I say it all the time that I'm super proud. One of the reasons that I look at and I make a point about it. I'll tell fucking anyone that'll listen. I look at my sobriety counter every single day,
right.
And without fail, because I'm super fucking proud of the time that I have. And that sometimes I will, it's so fucking weird. I'll just look at it and I'll stare at it for a minute and I'll just kind of read the numbers top to bottom, 2 or 3 times, and then focus on one and just think in my head, I'm like, fuck me, that's just, man, fucking cool.
I know.
But I don't sit there and dwell on it or be like, ooh, look at me, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And I posted something the other day with the 4,700 days, and I, unlike other times, and I don't even know how it came over me to write something more than I normally do. But I wrote something about that, about being super proud, but realizing that not everyone gets, to this point. Not everyone has the opportunities. Well, I don't even remember everything that I wrote, but it was just kind of what I was feeling at the time, and it completely came from a place of pride, And again, I don't know that. I think that somebody from the outside can look at that and say, well, yeah, I get it, man. You've been sober for a while. It's something you're super proud of.
Sure.
But I mean, think about that. It fucking blows me away. I mean, both of us, 4,700 days, 4,700.
Yeah,
I mean, it's fucking mind blowing, And, the coins, Kathy just, our sister, and that's why I say, we've got a normie there that, her and mom used to buy coins for us every year.
Right.
And, she sent us a text the other night and said, hey, it's almost that time.
Right.
And because she knows how important those coins are, but I guess when I'm thinking about the coins, would it make sense to, and I told the story, we were talking about the person that relapsed that I gave coins to, I don't know that anyone else can really comprehend why that fucked me up so bad when I thought about it.
Right.
And I don't mean, it didn't ruin my day, but I was mad, but it fucking hurt. You know?
Right.
Because that is and I didn't have to crawl through the mud. I didn't have to do all these weird fucking things to get to where I was to earn those coins to give them to somebody. But you're giving somebody a piece of you.
Yeah.
So maybe it's something like that. I don't know that a normal person can't really understand. Like, yeah, that fucking sucks. But I think it truly means in the bed. I get it. I can't think of something right off the top of my head, but I'm sure I've had moments like that where I'm like, fuck. Well, I don't know. You just drive along, I'll bitch about something with my car. My car's fucking dirty. It's like, fuck, man. Well, there was a point when I didn't have a car. Little things like that. A bed, more important than, not more important, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool though. That's super cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It just it was again, I think a question that came up on one of the other podcasts, but let me see. Oh, I know it. This is one that I had from a while ago. I know I did because it's at the bottom of my list. So I'm just gonna read off exactly what I wrote on here. So obviously we have friends, or have had friends that fall off when we get sober. But did you have anyone that just flat out said either they couldn't or wouldn't hang out with you anymore because you weren't drinking?
Well, no, because at the end of my drinking career, nobody would hang out with me because I was drinking. Yeah,
Right.
No, I was, I mean, the last thread of any human contact I had was my daughter,
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I had no friends. Her mom, still hadn't given up on me, but she was living in California, still is, and yeah, no, I mean, I didn't have, I was an isolator, I was a loner, I didn't have anybody I was hanging out with while I was drinking because I didn't want to fucking be around anybody. I mean, I still don't, but, but no, no, I didn't have any friends that like I partied with at that point. I hadn't in probably seriously 7-8 years, now, all those people I cut loose long before, or they cut me
Right.
loose. Yeah. So nope. There wasn't anybody in my life that was like, oh, well, I can't hang out with you because you're not partying anymore. Nope, they were all gone.
Yeah, because you're no fun anymore, right?
Right. No, I hadn't been fun in a long, long time.
Well, and you know what? I don't think anyone. And seriously, some of these things I have no idea when I wrote them down. I know I say that a lot, but the only thing that just kind of popped into my head was, and I think I told you about this, but there was this chick in high school. One of the, and I'm going to say quote unquote popular kids, didn't give me the time of day
Right.
when we were in high school, and I didn't really give a fuck. I mean, I had my group of friends. I wasn't around the super popular kids,
Right.
but I had a really good, solid group of friends, And I remember seeing her at a wedding one time, and we were sitting down. It was like this, I don't know. It's at the basement banquet hall of a restaurant. We were sitting, a bunch of people sitting up at a bar afterwards. So we started shooting the shit, and I ended up getting her phone number. This was back when, it wasn't her cell phone number, so her phone number,
Right.
So I remember calling her once, and had a brief conversation, and fucking never heard from her again.
Right.
So you got to figure this is late, I don't know, probably late 90s or something like that. And then after I got sober, Kathy ended up seeing her. Or no, she was friends on Facebook, touched base with me like one time, I think. I don't know. She'd message me every once in a while, and then had called me one time, and I don't know. She's like, "Oh, blah blah blah, this and this. We should hang out sometime. Let's go out for a drink." And I'm like, I don't drink. And she's like, "Oh, well, we can. I don't know." And fucking never heard from her again until Kathy was at this event with a bunch of friends out in an area in Wisconsin, and ended up seeing her there. She's like, "Oh, I know your brother," and blah, blah, blah. So this chick is fucking lit. And then ended up calling me fucking drunk. And then the same deal. Said she wanted to hang out again. I'm like, "You do remember that I don't drink, right?" And she's like, because that's what it was. She's like, "Oh, when next time we have a party, you should come over and get together." And I'm like, "You remember that I don't drink, right?" She's like, "Oh, well." She's like, "Well, you can come anyhow." And again, never heard from her again.
Right.
But again, I wouldn't have gone anyhow.
Right.
I don't want to hang out with them.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can hang out with a bunch of, because I know that's that whole group of people that I mentioned to. And no offense to them, people can do it. They live their lives. They keep their jobs and have kids and whatever.
Yep.
Fine. But I don't. I have no desire. To be around that. I wouldn't know what the fuck to do with myself.
Right.
I think I'd walk in and like my reunion, my high school reunion. My daughter's mom, Pam, went to it, and because she at one point she said, "Do you want to go?" And I'm like, "Fuck no." and she's like, "Well, she's like, "I understand if you want to." She said, "I'll go with you, and we can go together." And I said, "Be cool." I said, "I trust you, and I'm not. It's not that." I said, "But I wouldn't have any patience. It's at a bar."
Yeah.
everyone's just going to be drinking.
Mm-hmm.
I would have zero patience.
Right.
And she told me after the fact, she had sent me a text and then she had called me. She's like, you would have hated it.
Yep.
She goes, you're right. She goes, you wouldn't have wanted to hang there more than 15 minutes.
Right.
And I said, probably 10 if I'm lucky.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I have no desire to dwell on the past. I really fucking don't. And that's all that is. Hardcore dwelling on the past. And then throw some alcohol in there. Yay. Sounds like a blast. No thanks.
All right. But I know I have nothing in common with these people, whether they were drinking or not. I mean, I haven't seen them in 25 years.
Right, right.
So, yeah, just no desire whatsoever. So, but yeah, I think that was we chipped through quite a few things on this list. We didn't really talk much. Not that we had to. I mean, I had a note about our anniversary, but nothing really to talk about that.
Yeah.
Season 3, balls deep.
Yep.
We already know where we're at. So, have we said balls deep now? What, 5-6 times during this? So
balls deep 7.
It has come up a couple of times.
Well, it's a pleasant place to be.
It is. Balls deep in a pig, rifle in the air, squealing, whatever.
Yep.
I got to look that up. So, all right. Well, I think on that note, unless you feel differently, man, I think we're done, right?
I think we are done for this week's episode. Absolutely.
All right. Your turn.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for listening to another episode of Sober Not Mature. As always, be good to each other, be kind to each other, do something nice for somebody else. Like, share, subscribe, whatever it takes to move this little thing along. We appreciate it. And as always, please, 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 fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off until you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over the gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.
I kind of like that. Whatever it takes to push this little thing along.
Yeah.
the little podcast that could.
That's right.
Oh, just a real quick side note. I sent you an email from a guy that approached us about some water thing. Take a look at it when you get an opportunity, and you and I can talk about it at some other point. But I forwarded it to your Hotmail address.
Yep,
so.
I see it.
Cool.
I'll read it later.
All right. I'll remind you in 2 weeks and be like, you're like, yeah, I didn't read that yet.
Yeah, I probably will. I do check my email occasionally.
No, I know. I'm just fucking with you. But yeah, all right, brother. I love you.
I love you too.
I will talk to you soon.
Absolutely.
All right, bud. Bye.
Bye.
As always, thank you for listening to another episode of Sober Not Mature. To access all of our content and interact with us, please visit our website, SoberNotMature.com. Thank you again for listening, and we will talk to you soon.